The battle for the gavel still happening on Capitol Hill and headed for a 70th vote. I kid. We'll have more on that coming up, but let's get to this instead. America, the adults, are finally back in the room after turning the border into a broken turnstile and unleashing a record wave of illegal immigrants. Biden is now here to fix it. President will be traveling to El Paso, Texas on Sunday, my day off, Dana, to visit the border for the first time in his 50-year political career. Biden was flanked by his highly esteemed border czar to make the announcement, admitting that there's a problem, but refusing to call it a crisis.
Today, the Vice President, I'd like to talk to you about how my administration is dealing with our situation on the southwest border.
Well, Biden's big idea to stop the never-ending flow of illegals, just have them download an app.
If they're seeking asylum, they can use an app on their cell phone called CBP1, O-N-E, CBP1, O-N-E. That's to spell it out, not the number one. To schedule an appointment at a port of entry and make their asylum claim there without crossing the border unlawfully and have a decision determined by an asylum officer, do they qualify?
And it wouldn't be a Biden press conference without some good old-fashioned Republican bashing.
Republicans have refused to consider my comprehensive plan, and they rejected my recent request for an additional $3.5 billion to secure the border. It's clear that immigration is a political issue that extreme Republicans are always going to run on. We need more resources to secure the border. Yet again, extreme Republicans have said no. The Republicans haven't been serious about this at all.
I think he just gave me COVID. Dana, it's time for you to take a little victory lap around this table. But first, I want to play this clip of you predicting that this would happen.
Playing a clip?
Yeah.
I do predict that Joe Biden, the President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief, will visit the border in 2023. It will become untenable, and he will have to go there.
So why did it take so long, Dana, and why did he do it now? Is it because of what you said yesterday, that he's taking advantage of the chaos?
I actually think it has to do with the fact of two things. He's going to Mexico for a visit, and that means that you're going to visit the country where you're having all of these problems on your southern border, and you will not have visited the border. That would be something that I think that would just be impossible for them to continue to ignore. And the other thing is, I believe that they're getting ready for him to announce he is going to run for re-election in 2024, and that not going to the border before that would have been, as I mentioned, untenable. So I think those two things came together. I think it's fortuitous for him that he's making this announcement in the midst of all of the other chaos, which is that, the media loves to focus on that and not so much on this. I think that they've ignored the crisis for so long that now that, remember when we said something had to change? Well, what changed in the media's mind? When did they start covering it? It was when the Republican governor started busing migrants to those cities. And now you have mayors in Chicago and D.C. and New York City and Philadelphia. And then you have the governor of Colorado saying, I'm going to send more migrants to New York. And now this is becoming a Democratic problem, saying, wait, we can't be the only ones dealing with this. This is a national problem. Local resources are being strained. So I do think that made a big difference. I don't know if you could say help is on the way for these border states, because it seemed to me like downloading an app is really not going to cut it when 3 million people have come across the border. There was hardly any mention of the gotaways and no mention of the people who were caught that were either have a criminal record or were on the terrorist watch list. We have a major, major problem. And maybe if I look for a silver lining and good news is that because he's going, they are going to have to cover it, and more people will be aware of what's happening.
I wonder if Joe knows what downloading an app is. He's probably assuming it's a potato skins.
What was that one thing they handed him the phone and he played Despacito?
That was awesome. I miss that kind of Joe.
I know.
Doesn't it kind of bug you, though, that this is now more a political act than a patriotic one? He was willing to ignore a massive problem, then agree with Republicans, and now he has to do it politically.
Yeah.
But it's politics, and if you look at the policy announced today, it's amnesty. But it's nothing like any amnesty we've ever seen. Usually we give amnesty to people that are already here illegally. He's going out to other countries and giving them amnesty while they're in their home country. And then they get to come here. It's like pre-amnesty. So you download an app in Nicaragua, and then you get on a plane and you come here, and then you're in.
This is
I
amazing.
mean, basically, it did nothing for border security. You can still grab a kid, any kid, doesn't matter who it is, show up at the border and he's going to let you in. There's still catch and release. It just makes the process of absorbing waves of illegals easier for the government.
They're streamlining the illegality.
They are streamlining the illegalities, turn the whole border into a port of entry. And he has no legal authority to do this, so he's going to get hit with a ton of lawsuits, and that's good. He says Mexico is going to cooperate, and they're going to send some people back. So he's saying Mexico is going to take the caravans, and they're going to do a U-turn at the border, and Mexico is now going to send the caravan. Do you believe that Mexico all of a sudden is going to send the caravans anywhere? Of course not. Of course not. This is a bad deal. And the Republicans in the House, once they finally get their act together, they need to step up and deal with this.
Well, Harold, first of all, Happy New Year. It's great to see you back at the table.
It's good to be back.
Yes, it really is. Do you see a positive outcome from this? Republicans and Democrats coming together, perhaps?
I do. Indeed, I didn't miss you guys. I've been watching on TV, so it's good. It's good to see everybody.
Good to have you back, Harold.
Dana was right, and I'm glad she was right. I remember when I was in Congress and President Bush was the second half of it, and Vice President Cheney, you'd wake up at times and someone would be in Iraq or in Afghanistan on a surprise trip. They did that because for security purposes. I'm glad to see the president going, and I'm glad he announced it. I think there are four pillars here, and everybody has been right. This administration has not focused on this issue as they should. In fact, one of the reasons they lost to Congress is because of a lack of, I think, a focus and a lack of a coherent policy here. Jesse, you know, at the border, you got to look at fentanyl. You got to look at the gangs. You got to look at the human trafficking. You got to figure out ways whether you send more law enforcement and border patrols there, and you got to support. I hope the president will make mention of some of the things that they got wrong with the border security agents that were on the horses that got mischaracterized with it. It'd be great to push the reset button. Two, you got to figure out what you do with asylum. That process down there, Judge, is so bad. We have a policy now where if you just show up at the border and say things are really bad at home, we give you a hearing. That has to change. We not only need more judges, but we need a better process. Not streamline illegality, but streamline who can come in and why they can come in. Three, you gotta make clear some certainty around workers and students. We have a worker shortage in the country, but we shouldn't grant amnesty to everybody. We've got to make that clear. People who went and stood in line and did this legally, it's got to be a total affront to them and their families that people are able to get in, like we're allowing people to get in. And finally, the Mexico trip, Dana, you're right. The hemispheric buy-in has to be there. Mexico is not going to take everybody, but remember, we had this policy under President Trump, a variation of it. We need something smart like that and perhaps even more visionary going forward. So I've criticized the administration for this in the past. I'm glad he's going there, and I hope that there's a willingness, once Congress gets in, for Republicans to put pressure on the president and for the president to put pressure on them and for us to get a policy that makes sense and makes us safer.
Lastly, Judge, to Harold's diplomatic point, should we just accept the fact that better late than never and applaud Joe Biden for finally coming around to admitting that we were all right?
You know, it's very hard for me to applaud Joe Biden, and I'll tell you why. The speech today pretty much says it all. The speech that he gave today, a quote is, "The process is orderly, it's safe and humane, and it works." This guy is going to gaslight us when he goes there. He's going to talk about how great it is. He's not going to talk about the mess. And you know, Harold, no one agrees with you more than I do at this table that he has to look at the gangs, look at the fentanyl, look at the human trafficking. Right. But if you deny that, if you deny that it's even occurring, if you allow it to occur, if you do nothing about it when you know it's occurring, then you are complicit as far as I'm concerned. And if you look at it, that's fine and dandy. But until you tell me you're going to give money to Border Patrol, you're going to make sure that there are arrests for fentanyl, that there's cashless bail where people arrested for fentanyl, illegals, are released immediately, until you change those laws, these people are still entering as gotaways. So it's all talk. And, you know, Miss Kamala behind him, who's there for the root causes, I must have missed the report. I don't know, Dana, maybe you got it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. But the truth is that I believe that the Democrats who were in trouble this last midterm said, Joe, you got to go down there. If you don't go down there, we're all in trouble. And that's why even now governors like the one in Colorado, a Democratic governor, is now pushing illegals out of his state because he doesn't want want him either. So this is a situation where his own party is forcing him to go there and saying, how dare you? This is an invasion of the southern border of people we know nothing about. MS-13, Latin Kings, fentanyl, killing 100 people a day in the United States. And you're la-di-da-da-da and telling us the border's secure. Nonsense. Until he proves that it is secure, I don't believe a word he says.
Do the la-di-da-di-da thing again.
Yeah,
Can I add one thing, though, because I think this is important for viewers to know, in case you missed it today, because there are the moderate Democrats who are saying that, but then there are very prominent, powerful Democrats like Senator Menendez of New Jersey, who's the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee, right? Is that chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee? So any legislation would have to go through that committee, I'm assuming. He says that Biden's suggestions today are racist, that he thinks that this is a terrible thing. He wants the president to go in the other direction from Republicans. So the people in Washington representing all of us are very far apart on this issue. Well, actually, I think there's probably more agreement for what we are suggesting, but the power is with somebody like him.
If it comes to a vote in the Senate, it will be a bipartisan vote for passing immigration reform.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.